Sister Wives did lawyers warn Cristin and Janelle to be quiet. The women of Sister Wives have plenty of reasons to be angry with Kody Brown. And yet, a new interview with Janelle Brown in particular has fans scratching their heads. After everything the family patriarch did to the women, fans think they would want to speak out. Did the family patriarch threaten them with legal action? Sister Wives viewers seem confused about Cristin and Janelle's latest interviews. In a recent podcast interview, Janelle Brown spoke well about Kody, something highly unusual and out of character. Off-screen, Janelle has been highly critical of her ex-husband's bad choices. What prompted this shift? Janelle's change of tune, a Sister Wives viewer shared on Reddit. So everyone is speculating why Janelle has changed her tune, and I'd like to run an idea by everyone. I wonder if Janelle and Cristin's legal counsel have told them to play nice. After all, they've decided to sue their ex-husband, and if they keep insulting him, it could make their suits look petty and vindictive and muddy the waters. However, if they play nice, it looks a hell of a lot better for them. The OP went on to give examples to support their theory before asking what other fans thought. In return, Sister Wives viewers seem to have a wide range of opinions. Comments included, "I really thought Janelle was being very Janelle on that podcast. I don't mean that negative, but she's not very confrontational. Also, some of the things she was asked about she's consistently not been unhappy about. Like she always claims she wanted to live in the fifth wheel. Money. She might be in negotiations with him. There's nothing like money to shut a person up. They can play nice and still keep to the same script they are saying on TV. These episodes are 2 years behind, and it's been said already saying it again or explaining it more wouldn't hurt them." Cristin Brown slams Kody in a new interview. If lawyers did ask the Sister Wives stars to dial things back a little, Cristin Brown isn't taking their advice. In a new interview with Entertainment Tonight, Cristin made fun of Kody's hair obsession and also hinted he wears panties. After taking legal action against her ex, it doesn't seem that Cristin is interested in keeping the peace for any reason. In the cozy corner of a rustic cafe, Cristin Brown stirred her coffee absently, her gaze focused on the steam rising from the mug. Janelle Brown sat across from her, flipping through her phone while listening, half attentive, to the snippets of conversations around them. They were in public, surrounded by strangers, and yet the presence of their newfound freedom was unmistakable. Gone were the long days of walking on eggshells around Kody, of orchestrated smiles, of forced harmonies in a discordant plural marriage. They had left that chapter behind. But the story was far from over, and their newfound voices had gained the interest of more than just their loyal fans. "Cristin, look at this." Janelle's voice was low, an excited whisper, as she turned her phone to her friend. Cristin squinted at the screen, her eyes widening in disbelief. It was a blog filled with theories and speculations about their lives. Rumors were spreading like wildfire across the internet. People were dissecting every word they'd said on the show, analyzing each social media post and video. And now, according to the latest gossip, lawyers had allegedly warned them to keep quiet. Cristin laughed, but it was a hollow sound. "Us, silent," she murmured. "Oh, they don't know us, do they?" Janelle grinned but felt a slight knot forming in her stomach. As freeing as it was to speak her truth, she knew they weren't entirely unencumbered. Kody had his stake in all of it too, and while they were no longer bound in the same way, shared secrets and memories still lingered. "Cristin, maybe we should think about this," Janelle said thoughtfully, putting her phone down. "Not because of them, but, for ourselves." Just then, the door chimed, and a sharp-eyed woman in a smart black suit strode over to their table, carrying an aura of authority with her. She introduced herself as Ms. Klein, a lawyer with expertise in public relations and family law who'd been recommended by a mutual friend. She took a seat and, after polite introductions, got straight to the point. "Cristin, Janelle," she began, hands folded on the table. "I know this is a strange conversation, but we need to talk about some parameters." Cristin raised an eyebrow, a mixture of curiosity and defiance flickering in her gaze. She was not about to be stifled again, not after all the years she'd spent living by other people's rules. "Parameters," she echoed with a half-smile. "Like what we can and can't say about our lives." Miss Klein nodded, unflinching. "I understand where you're coming from, and believe me, I'm on your side. But your lives, and I mean your public lives, are still bound to certain boundaries, especially with ongoing contracts, Kody's involvement, and potential legal repercussions. You want to speak out, to own your stories, and that's valid. but I'd advise caution. Janelle glanced at Cristin, who seemed torn between amusement and frustration. Cristin had fought hard to find her voice, and to now be told to temper it felt like another layer of control she'd been desperately trying to escape. Okay, Janelle said, breaking the silence. What are these parameters exactly? Miss Klein leaned forward, her expression softening. First, anything regarding finances, custody, and personal disputes with Cody should be handled with care. You know the media loves scandal, and while sharing your journey is empowering, exposing certain specifics could backfire, not only legally but personally. Cristin let out a low sigh. She knew Miss Klein was right. It wasn't just about herself anymore. Her children had already lived through enough public scrutiny. They didn't need more fire added to the furnace of public opinion. What about our experiences, though? Cristin pressed, leaning forward. What about sharing our own emotional journey? That's our truth. Miss Klein nodded, her eyes sympathetic. Yes, your experiences are absolutely yours. But keep in mind, the narrative you control is powerful. And if you're selective with how you share, you can reveal your truth while still protecting yourself and your loved ones. It's a delicate line between transparency and keeping certain details off the table. Janelle leaned back in her chair, processing this. So, let me get this straight. You're saying we can tell our story, just maybe hold back on the gritty details. Precisely, Miss Klein said with a soft smile. Think of it like a memoir versus a diary. A memoir gives readers insight but doesn't reveal every little piece of the author's life. You can share your feelings, the growth, the lessons, the hard truths even, without exposing the parts that could lead to backlash, both legally and emotionally. Cristin nodded thoughtfully. And Cody? What about him? Miss Klein sighed. Cody is another variable. You're both bound by the contracts you've signed, and he could argue defamation or breach of contract if anything crosses a certain line. It might seem unfair, but think of it as preserving your freedom to continue speaking without facing unwanted repercussions. Janelle gave Cristin a small, knowing smile. Sounds like we're back to walking on eggshells. Only these eggshells are made of legal agreements. Cristin laughed, but it was a rueful sound, full of the weight of years spent navigating others' boundaries. Except this time, we're choosing to walk on them, she said, and we know we have the power to step off whenever we want. The conversation continued, touching on specifics, strategies, and potential pitfalls. Miss Klein offered practical advice, some of it uncomfortable, but all of it necessary. She emphasized the importance of keeping some things private while still embracing their voices. They could still be advocates for themselves and for others in similar situations, but they didn't need to burn every bridge to do so. As they wrapped up the meeting, Miss Klein rose to leave, her expression softening as she looked at them both. You're both remarkable, she said, and while you may feel bound by certain rules, remember, you still have the power to decide what you want to share and how. That's a freedom no one can take from you. Cristin and Janelle watched her go, both feeling a strange sense of peace mixed with trepidation. They'd fought so hard to step into the light, to share their stories, and now, even with these new limitations, they felt stronger for knowing the boundaries. They understood that speaking out wasn't just about what they said, but how they said it, and who they protected in the process. Janelle glanced at Cristin, a smirk playing on her lips. Think we can keep ourselves out of too much trouble? Cristin laughed, her eyes bright. Not a chance. But if we're gonna cause a stir, we'll do it on our own terms. And with that, they raised their mugs in an invisible toast, both women embracing the balance they found. They were free, they were fierce, and now they were equipped with the knowledge of how to wield their stories without losing.